Alright, what's up guys? It's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming, and this is another Java game programming tutorial. So the last time we left off, we implemented the draw method for our tiles, and drew a couple up in the corner there with tile.draw and tile2.draw. What we're going to do this time is we're going to make a map that fills the entire canvas or screen, what have you, with tiles instead of just the two in the black, which kind of looks not like a tower defense game. So we're going to go to Data and make a new class here. And I'm going to name it Tile Grid. And we only need one variable here for now. Public. It's going to be a double array of tiles called map or something similar. And we're going to create a default constructor for our tile grid here. And let's set the map to the appropriate dimensions inside of here. So if you're using the same dimensions as me for your screen, I believe it's 20 by 15 or 15 by 20. If it's not 20 by 15, we'll find out. That'll be a terrible error. And we're going to do a double for loop in here, or a nested for loop. And so if you're not familiar with these, then I'm going to link to a tutorial I did earlier in an annotation on the screen right now, and you can check that out. But if you are familiar, this should seem pretty straightforward right now. We're just pretty much going through everything in our double array and filling it up. And we're going to set every tile for now in the map to a nice default grass tile. So the X position and the Y position will be their positions in the array times 64, because that's how big the images are. And then for the tile type, we'll do tile type.grass. Alright, and the next thing we need to do is create a draw method here. Public void draw. And that is another nested for loop, so I equals 0 less than mapped out length, and then j and let's see, what does that draw method look like? Yeah, cheat, go to our tile. Draw quad text takes a texture, XY width height, okay. So it'd be easiest if we just made a dummy tile to work with. Tile t equals map at ij. And then from there we can use our draw quad text, t.get texture, get x, y, width, and height. And we probably need to import, we need to import this. So if you go to the top above our class declaration, import static helpers.artist.star. Alright, looks like it worked. So now let's go to the boot class. Let's get rid of these two tiles. They're for chumps. Doing way bigger things, way bigger plans here. Get rid of the draw methods. And we're going to make a new tile grid. And you can name it whatever you want. And then inside of here, where we were drawing our tiles, we're going to do grid.draw. And try that. Alright, sweet. Looks like it worked. So we managed to populate the entire screen with our tile grid. And what we're going to do next time is start working on a way to edit it and make custom maps. What's up guys, it's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with another Java game programming tutorial. So the last time we left off, we filled the screen with our tiles here, got a nice little tile grid going on, and what we're going to do this time is create kind of the base for a rudimentary tile editor, because right now they're all the same green grass tiles, so we're going to put in some dirt in there. And so go to the tile grid class here, and you see we have our default constructor right here, and all that's doing really is just going through every tile in our map and just making it grass, which we did last time, but we're going to make a new constructor right below it, public tile grid, and it's going to take a double array of integers as an argument, and we're going to set it up similar to the last time. So map equals new tile 20 by 15, and have our double for loop right here. Oops. And then inside of this, it's going to be a little bit different because we're not just in it all to grass. And we are going to kind of make this editing more advanced, I guess you could say, in the future. But for right now, since we only have dirt and grass, it's pretty simple. We're just going to do an if or else statement for dirt or grass. So let's check inside of here if new map, which is the argument that we passed in here, at spot j and then I, and take note it's ji, not ij, and you'll see why in a second here, is equal to 0, then we're going to say, we can just copy it from up here. Map at ij equals new tile grass, else, and we can just change the grass to dirt. Alright, so that's our new constructor, which takes a double int array. And now you're wondering where that array is. We still need to make it. So let's go to the boot class here, and we'll make a temporary one here. So define a double integer array named, I'll just name it map. And the way you set it up is like this. First, get a semicolon because we're declaring a variable. And inside here, you can actually put various integer arrays. So it's an array of arrays, right? So we're just going to manually put in our map here, and we can edit it after. So for now, just get, so you have like this right here, open close bracket, semicolon at the end. And we're going to do an open bracket. And remember our map, let's see, our map is actually 20 tiles wide and 15 up and down. So we're literally going to create that right here. So open bracket, and we're going to put 20 zeros. I probably should have counted out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think I got that right. And then put a comma at the end. And once you have your 20 zeros right there, you can copy this line, and we're going to paste it 15 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And now where we make our tile grid, right below there, we had the default constructor with no arguments. This time we're going to pass in map, and we're going to see if it works the first time or if it's totally broken. So let's try it. Perfect. All right, so it looks the same, right? Because it's all zeros. But what we can do is we can go back, and just like a very simple map editor, we can actually just edit the ones to create the dirt tiles where we want the dirt tiles to be. And so you can start making like a simple kind of path for the enemies to flow through. But for now, I'm just testing if it works. So let's see, I'll create a smirk. Perfect. What's up, guys? It's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with our Java game programming tutorial. So the last time we left off, we made a cool little smirk smiley face map. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to add another tile to our game. And this is kind of just an important thing to know, so that way you guys can add your own tiles on your own. And it's actually pretty easy due to the fact that we set up a lot of the harder background stuff and made it kind of simpler to implement. So there's pretty much 3 steps. So the first step is getting a new texture for, ignore that. The first step is getting a new texture for your game. And I have one right here for water. And if you want this one, it's going to be just like the last one, the grass and the dirt. It's going to be in the description of the video, so you can download that. But once you have it downloaded, you're just going to drag and drop it right over to your resources folder right here. Alright, and once you have that in there, that's step 1 complete. Pretty simple, right? The next step we're going to do is we're going to first go to our tile grid class, and we're going to set it up for multiple tiles. So I think I said last time that our current setup is kind of kind of janky, just kind of made for two tiles. It's an if, then else statement. And we're going to change this. We're going to switch it up and make it a switch statement. And so switch is kind of like an if, then else, except it has multiple possibilities. So switch, and then you input the variable that is going to decide the outcome. So for us, it's new map at ji, just like we were checking if new map at ji is equal to 0, do this, or else do this. So switch new map at ji, open bracket, close bracket. And inside of here is where we're going to put our options for our switch statement. So the first one, the way you do that is you type in case, and then you put in the number that's going to get passed through. So just like last time, 0 is grass. So we'll say case 0, colon, go down a couple, and break. And so whatever we want to happen, if it's 0, it goes right here. And luckily we already have that right here. So we can just copy and paste this grass tile right there for case 0. And then the next thing we're going to do is do case 1, put a break down there, and in the middle we're going to copy what we have for our dirt tile, because that's set to 1 right now. And now let's go ahead and delete the original if else we had and just leave the switch statement. And let's see if this works. Cool, so it still works, so we haven't broken anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add, so this is step 2 for adding a new tile. We're going to add a case for the new tile that we're going to create. So for this one, we actually just copy what we have. We can just make it case 2, and we're going to change this to tile type dot water. And it's going to give you an error because we don't have a tile type named water, and that's the third and final step. So open the tile type class we have, and you see we have our grass type and our dirt type. All you need to do is put a comma right here and name one water, and then put the texture name, which can be found over here in our resources folder. So it's water64. And then whether or not you can build towers on it. So for me, that's a false. All right. And so now that's how you add a tile. 3 easy steps. You put the texture inside of the program here, then you add a case for it, then you add a tile type for it. The last thing we want to do to test it is go to our boot class up here, and we're going to put in some 2s. So let's put in a little reservoir up here. All right, now let's try it out. Sweet. So now we have 3 tile types, and it's easy to expand that and add up to however many tile types you want to add. Hey guys, what's up? It's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with another Java game programming tutorial. So the last time we left off, we implemented a third tile type, the water tile, which you can see up here. Looks real pretty. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to expand upon our tile grid class even more, this time by creating getters and setters for specific tiles. So if you go to your tile grid class, we're going to make 2 new methods here. The first one is going to be a setter. So public void set tile. And it's going to take some arguments. We're going to need the x coordinate, as in what tile on the x plane we want to set, the y coordinate for what tile on the y plane, and the tile type to change the tile to. And then inside these brackets, it's easy. We're just going to set map at x coordinate, y coordinate to a new tile with that tile type. So if you look right above it, we're pretty much doing the same thing that we did in our switch statement. And make sure you multiply that by 64 because you want to get the correct coordinates because the textures are 64 by 64 pixels. And you can just put type for the tile type. So let's go ahead and see if that works now. Let's go back up to our boot class. And let's find a good tile to change, something that we'll notice. So let's go in and run the game real quick. You can see we have one little indent in this water. So we're going to count it 0, 1, 2, 3 across, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So the coordinates are 3, 4. 3 for x, 4 for y. So just run grid.setTile 3, 4, and we'll change it to dirt. That's something that we'll see pop up easier. So after we do that, let's go ahead and run it and see if it worked. All right, cool. So this is important because it allows us to kind of dynamically change the map either via an editor or something that we don't need to hard code into our variable in the boot class. So now we're going to make a getTile method, and that's going to return the type of tile instead of just a void. So we're going to need an x coordinate and a y coordinate, and that's all. And just make sure that you have a tile here, because we're not just doing something in the class, we're actually returning it back to where you call it from. And this will allow enemies or towers to kind of interact with the map and know what they're on. And all we're going to do is return map at x coordinate, y coordinate. All right, let's go back up to the boot class here. And we're going to go look at our map again. And what I want to do is I want to change this dirt tile we just made to the same tile that's right next to it. So we're going to get the tile type that's right next to it using our new method, and we're going to change it to that. So in our setTile method, get rid of the tile type.dirt as the last argument, and instead we're going to use our grid.getTile, and we're going to do the one right next to it. So let's give me 2, 4, and then after that you're going to have to call the getType on the tile class. So that should change it to water because that's the tile type right next to it. Sweet, looks like it worked. So this is just a way to dynamically kind of access and see the map as well as change it. What's up guys, it's Brian from Cross Coast Gaming with another Java game programming tutorial. So the last time we left off, we implemented a couple methods into our tile grid class, the getTile and setTile, and we were able to change this tile here by getting the tiles next to it and finding their tile type and then setting this tile after the game already started. So this time we're going to implement something that I feel like you guys are probably waiting for a while, and that is the beginning of our enemy class. So we can start getting some other kind of entities in there other than just tiles. Before the enemies are actually fully fledged and moving and going along a course, we're going to need to implement some other things along the way, but this is just a start to get the enemies on the screen. So the first thing we're going to do is add our texture for the enemy. So far I've been making the textures, the water, grass, and dirt. I made it in Photoshop real quick. And I also made this one, and I'm not super proud of it, so don't make fun of it. But it's available in the description, just like the other ones were, so you can go ahead and download that and just drag and drop it into your resources folder. It's supposed to be a spaceship, by the way. Anyway, once you have that in there, go to your enemy class, and we're going to create the variables we need, which is going to be the integers for the X position, the Y, the width, the height, pretty normal stuff. And then also we can add the health and I think the speed should be a float probably, because we might want to get some values in between integers. And then let's go ahead and make our constructor. So public enemy, int x, int y, int width, int height, and float speed. Oh, and I forgot an important one too. So we also need to add a texture for our enemy. And I like to put the texture as the first argument here. So texture, oh my god, texture. And you need to implement that, or import, sorry. All right, and then you guys know the deal here. This.texture equals texture, so on and so forth. X equals X. This.speed equals speed. Okay, and we're going to implement our draw method now. Public void draw. Draw quad text, which takes our texture, our X, our Y, our width, and our heights. You know what, actually, I'm going to do something different here. Instead of taking an X and a Y in this constructor, let's take advantage of our new method we made and just take a tile, the starting tile where it starts at. So tile start tile, and I'll also add a spot for it up here, private tile start tile, and I should make this texture private as well. And this dot X will now equal start tile dot get X, and this dot Y, what's going on? Oh, semicolon. Gee, what? Oh, gotcha. So our X and our Y are floats. Okay. Easy. So yeah, just go ahead and change the up here the integers of X and Y into floats, and it should work because we're returning a float for the X and Y coordinates of our tiles. So that's fine, totally works. And then this dot Y equals start tile dot get Y. And now when we draw quad text, this should still stay the same. We need to import our artist to get that draw quad text method. So import static helpers.artist.star, give us all the artist methods, and it looks like it worked. So let's go to our boot class now, and right below where we set the tile, let's go ahead and create a new enemy. Let's name him E, and he needs a texture. And this is obviously going to be cleaned up, and there's going to be, you know, a wave manager that kind of does all this for us. But, you know, just as we've been doing before, we're just going to test it out in the boot class, and then once we get it to where we want it to be, we'll move it into a more clean and self-sufficient area. But for now, new enemy, and for the texture, I guess we need to call quick load UFO 64, and a tile. We need a starting tile. Is that the next argument in here? Yeah, start tile. So we can use our grid dot get tile, and we'll start it at a nice even 10, 10. And then we need a width and a height and a speed, which doesn't really matter now because it's not going to be moving yet. So let's give it 2. And then inside here, right after we draw the grid, we will do e.draw. And let's see if we got it on the screen. Sweet, looks awful. So what we need to do is we actually need to call something to clear the buffer for our drawing, because we're drawing on top of the grid here every time it loops. So we're going to do that next time, but it's not a big deal. But the good news is we got it on the screen at the coordinates of 10 and 10, so we know that our start tile works and our get tile methods work. So we're looking good. So I think we're going to start working on either a wave manager or maybe a clock to get them moving. But first we're going to, you know, clean this up next time and make it look prettier. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.